Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and our guest today is Cristina Ivory from Angry Booch.
Yes.
What a name, all right? And as people are looking, they're wondering what all this stuff is. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But tell us about something about you and how you came up with this name for your business.
So I have been on this health journey. I was unhealthy, overweight. I had digestive health issues. So I've dipped my toe in different areas and trying to figure out how to be healthier. And I came across kombucha, which was supposed to be really good for digestion, your immune system, detoxification, and weight loss. And I went ahead and bought a bottle from the store, and it tasted terrible. So I thought I have to be able to do a better job than this. And then one day I was at a farmer's market and I tasted another vendor's kombucha, and it was like night and day. It tasted so much better. So I said, I definitely have to figure out how to make this. So I started brewing it at home, and it was delicious. I would bring it into work for all my coworkers.
Why don't you tell people what it is?
Okay. So the main product that I offer is kombucha, which you can see here. These are some of our flavors. And in reality, we have about 8 or 9 flavors. I didn't bring them all. But kombucha is a fermented tea full of probiotics. It is made by fermenting a sweet tea, and there's a symbiotic process between yeast and bacteria, which are the probiotics, and they kind of work in harmony and produce this sweet, slightly sour, fizzy beverage that's really good for you.
And when people look at this, they're going to go, I'm not accustomed to this. I'm accustomed to a clear liquid or in a bottle that I, for the brand that I recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And so we picked that. How many people picked this product at the beginning because of the color?
Some people are drawn, because our branding has a lot of vibrant colors. A lot of people are drawn to the vibrant colors and want to know what it is. Or they've had a bad experience with kombucha and they don't want to try it ever again.
Let's talk about that. So how long has kombucha been around, and how do people typically find out about it?
So it's been around for about 2,000 years, as dating back to ancient Chinese civilization. It was touted as a magical elixir. And in the past 30 to 40 years, it's been coming into Western civilization. And you have a lot of brands that are on the West Coast in California that are big. And you can see them currently dominating the supermarket aisle. When you go into the produce section, there's a nice little area carved out that's growing and getting bigger and bigger. So with that, it's definitely becoming more mainstream. And then when you have things like immunity, especially with COVID coming in, everybody was trying to see, how can I boost my immune system? How can I get healthier? And a lot of people stumbled across fermented foods and beverages, which is what I specialize in.
So you taught at FIU and LA Fitness.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience.
So part of my health journey also was getting into shape, and I took some spinning classes. Thought I could definitely do a better job than some of the instructors. So I ended up getting certified and
certified in
spinning. And I was hired at LA Fitness down in Palmetto Bay. I was there for about 7 years. When I wanted to become an instructor at FIU, I also had to be group fitness certified. So I ended up teaching aerobics classes over there. I was there for about a year while I was attending school. And I was actually Panther Fit Instructor of the Year one year.
When you were attending school, what were you taking then?
I was getting my bachelor's in business administration.
So here you are, and you started because for health reasons, you taught and got in the environment, and then you finished your education at FIU. You mentioned about spinning classes. I want to know, has Grant Miller ever completed a spinning class that you've ever taught? Grant, listen up, bud.
He had been known to come into my class for a bit.
Did he wave?
Yeah, he waved sometimes. He would step his foot in and say he had taken the class, and then tell everybody that he had taken my class.
You hear that, Tommy and Howard? He just steps in and says hi, and I've done it. So I can't help but notice the logo that's on the name that's right there on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
There it is right there. Tell us about that.
So it kind of goes to your previous question too, along with the name. But it is called Angry Booch because I was fermenting at home. And I also had to keep stuff in the garage. I was living with my parents at the time, so I had a lot of explosions. So every time I'd try to go open a bottle, it would erupt. A lot of
explosions.
Yes. So fermentation involves carbon dioxide, which is a gas naturally produced as the yeast consume the sugars. And what it does is in a closed container like this, the contents are under pressure. Sometimes when you try to open them, all the CO2 tries to come out at the same time. So whenever I would try to open it, I would always say, oh, it's so angry. And while I had a corporate career before, and when I would bring it into work, I would always tell people if I ever started a company, I would call it Angry Booch. Because booch is a little slang for kombucha and some other things I hear in the 80s. But for these purposes, it is booch kombucha. And my daughter at the time was, she was 9 at the time.
Is she over here?
She is here.
Alexandra, can you come over for a second? Oh my God, do I have to? Come on. Your mom is so proud of you.
Just a quick second.
Okay. It'll be okay. All right, you can be angry later. All right. So tell us about the logo. Go closer to your mom here on the microphone.
So here, this is the logo. Do you remember when I went to you and I asked you if you could draw me something angry?
Yeah.
Because you were really into drawing.
Mm-hmm.
She was a really good artist, and when she was younger.
Yeah.
Wow. How'd you get that talented?
I don't know. I kind of had to ask one of my friends to help me like draw it and figure out like a cool logo for it, and she ended up helping me figure out how to draw.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Well, that's neat. So yeah, you have your work, whether it was done by you or a group of people, you masterminded it. That's great. Did you need to get like a commission from it? Did you ask her for that?
No.
Not yet. Soon, right? Like you're an artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where do you go to school?
I go to Cutler Bay Senior High.
That's great. New school, about 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
In wonderful city of town of Cutler Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Just won some national awards, all right, for being age friendly.
Yes.
Whatever that means. All right. We're going to find out in a week or two.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alex.
So here you have this one. Tell us what's good about this.
Well, first of all, it tastes good. If you're into having fizzy beverages like sodas and you want to kick them because of the high fructose corn syrup or the negative health effects, this could be a really good alternative because it is slightly sweet and it is slightly fizzy. The other thing, the number one benefit that I experienced was improved digestion. Not to get too much into that conversation, but it does help regulate your digestive systems. I usually have a little bit in the morning so I can go before I go out into the world. But that's really the number one benefit. And then over time, it helps build up your immune system because 70 to 80% of your immune system is located in your gut. So when you incorporate things like fermented foods into your diet, you are making your gut stronger, therefore increasing the strength of your immune system.
Now, you mentioned that you in the corporate world. Tell us what that looked like then, and when was that?
Yeah, so let me see. It was, I believe I left my job and went full-time into this, which was very scary. About 3 years ago, I was at a healthcare IT company on a path with a very successful career, but I felt very unsatisfied. There were things going on in the company where I guess I had more time on my hands to develop this hobby. And I started doing farmers markets on Saturdays. And then I would go back to my corporate job, which would just drain the life out of me Monday through Friday.
What type of work was that?
So I was a manager of electronic data interchange, which is the acronym for that is EDI. It's the process of sending digital files back and forth between two trading partners. It gets pretty boring, but when you go to the doctor and you have a claim that filed on your behalf to the insurance company, they usually send that electronically. And I was behind the scenes managing a team that was responsible for that.
So you went from just some paperwork, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
to real upfront helping people.
Yes.
What was that like for all the people that are out there like you who were unsatisfied and unfulfilled to be able to say, I'm going to stop this and then go do this? What was that like when you made that decision? And what were some of the first steps you made to do that?
So to be honest, I have never been more terrified in my entire life. It was a very scary thing. I had financial security. I had benefits. I was very well paid. I probably was getting paid more than I'm able to pay myself now. But then again, my quality of life is very different. I did find I recently had bought a house with money that I had saved from my job. I had a car. I had more security if anything were to go wrong to fall back on. And I had told my husband that I was unhappy. He saw it in me. And at a certain point, I realized I needed to quit, but I didn't give myself the permission to do so. And one day he told me, you're really unhappy. He's like, I don't see any other way. And he's like, what you do is amazing. It tastes good. Everybody loves it. Go ahead and do it. I'll be here.
From the time you started recognizing this job's not doing it until you got approval from yourself to be able to put that aside and do it, how long was that?
I want to say it happened pretty quick. It was probably within like a 4-month period.
Wow.
But my body, I did start having some sort of physical symptoms from sitting in the chair. I was having so much pain one day, I just couldn't even sit down. There were physical symptoms, like things were greatly working against me when I was there. And, weekends were totally different. I felt like a rock star or a hero on the weekends because everybody loved the products. Comparing it to a job where you might get like a high five or, somebody says something nice to you compared to what I was doing on the weekends, it was completely different.
So you had both things going on.
Mm-hmm.
You had some satisfaction from helping people a little bit more directly, got more positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Your support system said, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you still had to make that decision. All right, I'm going to go do that.
I did. And I remember hearing that the greatest regret most people have on their deathbed is just not taking enough chances. And I couldn't let myself not take the chance and not know, because I felt like this brand had a lot of potential. And when I was at work, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I wasn't able to do that. So I had customers or stores that wanted to carry our products, and I wasn't able to do it well. Like I was basically assembling bottles kind of in the trunk of my car and putting labels on my lunch break and trying to dash all over town and get everything done. So I realized too, I wasn't going to be able to grow my brand or do anything with it. And I wasn't even giving myself that opportunity. And in the back of my mind, I always had, worst case, I'm educated. I've learned a lot in my job. I held many positions when I was there. So I was also on a product management and development team. So I had those skills as well. So I figured worst case, I could go back into the corporate world.
Well, we're glad you made that decision. So you currently have a location where you put all this together. You're not worried about explosions?
No. Well, they're contained. They can only go so far. I made a mango chutney about like 2 years ago that ended up all over the ceiling. And I went to just go drop stuff off, and me and my daughter were there. We walked in and we smelled mango. And then we were there for a couple hours cleaning it. So, I mean, it still gets me. It's at home. I ferment too, and I'll have some explosions. It's just part of it.
So why don't we talk about some of your products here?
Sure. So over here we have different kombuchas. Like I said, I have about 8 to 9 flavors. A lot of these are inspired by drinks that I've had or cocktails, and definitely our tropical climate and culture. So most of these ingredients grow here. They're local. I capture them within the season. This one here is a mango turmeric tamarind. And this one is made with local mangoes and local turmeric and tamarind as well. So when I do make my products, I do try to support local farms and incorporate their products into these as well.
So I hear some anti-inflammatories in there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that. And why people at Tommy's age and my age should drink that.
Yeah. So some people do report anti-inflammatory benefits from drinking kombucha. But the one that we have that I promise the most benefits from is going to be the one with the turmeric in it. So I don't use any powders. Everything is fresh ingredients that we're infusing with. So we actually do use the whole turmeric root in it. And turmeric has anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory properties. And when you ferment different ingredients, you're increasing the bioavailability of the nutrients, because there might be something there that's blocking us from absorbing the nutrients. So when you do ferment foods, you are getting more nutrients and better digestion from them and absorption into your body.
And so each one of these, obviously they're different colors, but tell me what's the main core ingredients in it that help people, or what?
Yeah, so the main thing is it's kombucha, which is made from tea, sugar, and water. And you need to start off with a starter culture, similar to yogurt or sourdough. You start off with a culture that's already been fermented from a previous batch. So at the base, it's tea, sugar, water, and then the kombucha culture, which is also kombucha is also made with a SCOBY, which is an acronym for symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast. And it's a cellulose structure that floats on the top. Some people call it a mushroom, but it usually covers the surface of the kombucha.
When did you start learning about this?
As I was making it and looking into making it.
Okay. So if somebody was to consume the starter one, which one of these is that?
So I usually suggest one of our lighter flavors. So this one here is Guava Mint, also called Guava Mente, because we're in Miami. But this one is one of the smoothest ones. It's a lot of the thing that usually turns people off from kombucha is the smell and then the acidity. So I try to find ways to not make my kombucha taste like vinegar. Some of the store-bought ones do. And I found for some reason Guava Mint remains to be the smoothest flavor.
And how long is this? How many days is this supply?
So for me and most kombucha drinkers, we're usually drinking about one of these bottles a day. But if you are starting off, I suggest just drink 4 ounces and see how you feel. But if you are drinking the bottle and you cannot stop, go for it. I believe it's generally recommended not to have more than 2 of these a day.
So 1 to 2 a day.
Yeah.
So do people replace something else while they're drinking this? Is it naturally it's going to reduce their consumption of liquids?
Yeah.
And because they're going to be doing this.
Well, yeah. So some people have replaced soda. There's also a big community of people that have stopped drinking alcohol. So maybe they're putting kombucha in a wine glass, and then that gives them, I guess, the feel for having a drink, but you're not actually drinking. It's a different way to stay sober and a bit healthier.
And where can people get these products?
All right. So we have a store in Palmetto Bay. It's on 169th and US 1 on the west side of US 1. We're right across from the Infinity dealership. We're open Wednesday, 12 to 5. Then we are also at 2 farmers markets in town. We're at Legion Park, which is off of 66 and Biscayne, Saturday, 9 to 2. And then we're also at the Pinecrest Farmers Market, Sundays, 8 to 2.
And where can people find your website?
www.angrybooch.com.
That's pretty cool. Okay, let's talk about this product over here.
Yes.
This looks like sauerkraut, Tommy. All right, but it's not.
Flavored sauerkraut.
Okay. Can we read this? Okay. Cabbage, onions, garlic, sea salt, mustard seed, chipotle, pepper, and it's organic. Crafted in Palmetto Bay, Florida, right here, man. Just think 15 years ago, there was no Palmetto Bay. All right. Former resident of Palmetto Bay, now resident of where? Cutler Bay.
Oh, me too.
So, lemon dill kraut. You know what, Tommy?
I think the kimchi is my jam. So.
Which one?
The one on the end.
The one on the end over here?
Yeah, there's 2 kimchis. There's one made with all radishes. So I believe that's thin sliced watermelon radish. And this is the
tell
cabbage
us
one.
how you consume that.
So a lot of customers come back and tell me that they're just eating it straight out of the jar. But I believe they first start by putting it on food. Each one of these has a different cult following. It's really interesting. But just starting with breakfast, the kimchis are really good with eggs. You could also do avocado toast. Any of these are good with avocado toast. So you just toast your toast, put the avocado on top, mash it, and then you can put one of these on top. Then some of our customers also put a lot of them on salads, the smoky mustard, and we also have a super kraut, which it's curry flavored. People are also putting a lot of that into their salads. The smoky mustard is also good on sandwiches. Just last night, I put some into a bean soup that I made. People put it on everything. Somebody even told us they put it on a sweet potato. But most people you'll find just eat it straight out of the jar.
Very cool. Beautiful colors, right? Colors are a big deal. All right. Some of these look pretty familiar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't make anything plain. That's just one thing that I haven't done. Everything starts plain and then we flavor it. I personally feel life is better with a lot of flavor.
I notice these are cold over here.
Mhm.
Do they need to stay in the refrigerator?
Yeah. So when people are shopping, I just tell them by the time you get home, go ahead and pop it in the fridge. Fermentation takes place at room temperature. So with these, I make them cold to slow down the fermentation process so we can extend the shelf life. So they can sell forever. Because these sauerkrauts here are pretty much good forever as long as they stay moist and refrigerated. Whereas the kombucha is usually mine, it lasts about 4 months in the fridge before it starts to taste like store-bought kombucha.
So this right here, so somebody can consume that. Let's say it's a bottle a day, and in between, is it sitting on the counter somewhere?
It's better. It tastes better cold. Some people do drink it warm, but yeah, just pop it back in the fridge and go back to it at lunch or dinner or whenever you feel like having some.
And again, people can go to your store in Palmetto Bay or on Biscayne at 66.
Yes.
And go to your Pinecrest. Pinecrest
Farmers Market. Yep.
There at the former Parrot Jungle, right? They can order from your website.
Yes.
So if we wanted to order some of this as first timers, which ones should we get?
I would say the Guava Mint. We also have ginger beer, which is not kombucha. This is this one sitting over here. That's why it doesn't have a label. It's a relatively new product. But this is something that you could definitely mix with drinks or kind of drink on its own. Not as sour, more palatable, but definitely spicy because there's a considerable amount of ginger in there.
Yeah. So often people take vitamins. They take vitamins because they think that it's good. And sometimes there's no evidence of that. And but we know if you take vitamin B, if you don't know if it's working or not, stop it for a couple of days and see what happens and see if you're feeling different. If somebody was going to drink this for the first time, when would somebody, other than the taste, feel something different? Oh, that must be from this product.
I would say probably within about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer.
And what is that? What's that feeling that you're going to have?
So if you are stimulating your digestion, what this is going to do is it's going to help move things along. So sometimes people, if you drink it in the morning sometimes, or depending on where you are in your day, you might have to go to the bathroom, and not in a terrible way, not like taking a detox tea. This is more of a natural way. It kind of helps it along instead of forcing it.
Okay. So let's say, so you're on it for, let's say 3 weeks in, what's going on in your body?
So I've actually had people come back and tell me that they had a lot of brain fog because our gut's kind of like our second brain, if not our first. But some people have told me that it's cleared their brain fog. They were able to start dreaming again. Some people weren't. I had one customer that wasn't able to eat or hold down any food. And he drank some kombucha and he was able to finally eat some Ritz crackers. So depending on who the person is. With me, my digestion definitely became regular. I think it's a great product for teenagers as well because of all of the food we eat. Like with even our American diet, we eat a bunch of different foods that might not agree with us. This makes eating those a lot more easier and actually shifting the way maybe your lifestyle, the way you eat and drink towards a more healthier path.
Is that because there's something in it or because you're just paying more attention to it?
I think there's definitely something in it. And it does help you feel healthier over time. I know when I first started drinking kombucha, I was able to go and have like fries and wings and all these other things. And then I would have some kombucha and I'd feel like that just didn't happen. I just didn't feel the effects of like the heavy grease and everything. I mean, since then I've started eating healthier. I don't eat that type of food anymore. But I definitely saw a benefit from that.
Okay. When he raises his hand, that means we have 5 minutes left.
All right.
So there's some, oh my goodness, Mr. Miller, Grant Miller is here and Grant, she outed you and your spinning class. All right. Did you go
It
by?
did work.
Go by and just wave. So there's some young lady out there. She's 20 years old or so. She's watching this and she says, "Wow, I'm ready to take the big dive and do something new." Why don't you offer that person some words of encouragement?
So if you find yourself in that point of your life where you need a change, or maybe you have a passion and you wanna give into it, go for it. You're never gonna know unless you try. And even if you fail, it teaches you something along the way. Life isn't fun when you stay in the same place and when you're stagnant. It's really scary, but it's so rewarding on the other side. I think even if you don't do well and you fail horribly, at least you know you tried. At least you know.
Got to show up, man.
Yep.
So anyway, we're glad you showed up. We're glad that you're healthier than before, and we're. I'm going to order on Grant's behalf, but really on my behalf, we'll figure out the right thing to do. And I see Tommy's eyeing some of this stuff over here as he looks away. We just want to know when our betters send a no for the hot dogs. Notice he's not looking up. So, Cristina Ivory, thank you so much for being here, and we wish you lots of good luck with
Thank
this.
you.
And it's innovative. We're glad that you can affect some change in people and get people to think about where they are and where they want to be.
Thank you.
And again, people can find you all over the internet under Angry
Booch.
Booch, Booch.
Mhm.
And Alexandra, thank you so much. And good work on the logo. Right there, folks, made by that young lady right over there. Again, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your time. Have a good day. And Howard, Tommy, thank you for producing the show. See you guys.